right. And I started to drink as it was one long strike. Oh boy.
All right, stand by, everybody.
And your car will be when you pick it up. Call Executive Auto Body 212.
You have a volume control for that underneath there.
And store the number.
Yeah,
You know what? They actually fold down.
Yeah.
It's not about the damage on the
Oh, okay, cool. I'm sitting over here trying to.
I know. They're good headphones, but they're.
not the fence out of accidents.
And I'm like pulling on them, like.
Here we go.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Clean and Sober here on WWDB AM 860. It's Friday morning, the 19th of September, the day before the big recovery walk, which steps off at Penn's Landing tomorrow. It's, of course, all part of September's National Recovery Month. And we're going to be, Gary and I are going to be there. Gary Hendler, my co-host on the program. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
We're good. We're good. Clean and Sober will be down there. We're looking for a big crowd. And if you're just hearing about this, I can't imagine you are, but if you are, still plenty of time to get involved. You can register. You can go online. We'll give you some details later. But there typically 10, 20,000 people have taken part in the walk. It's a great day. And there's a lot of things going on associated with that. So that's tomorrow. We'll give you more details about the recovery walk tomorrow and what you can expect. You can expect to see smiling Gary Hendler there. I have to apologize in advance because of a prior commitment. Well, Gary, I mean, if they need you in Washington, you got to go to Washington.
You always laid on me at the end. You know?
Well, you're more fun than I am. I mean, let's face it.
That's true. Yeah.
Nobody wants to meet me. I've talked to people who have met me. They're underwhelmed. No, I apologize. I had every intention of. I had every intention. First of all, it's a walk. I'm good. The only thing I do better than a walk is a ride. If they ever have a 20K ride, I'm not there. So I would have been there, but I apologize for not being. But you'll be there. Our banner will be there.
We have a big banner. And we have giveaways.
And we have.
That car is going to go tomorrow.
Don't do that. We don't have a car to give away. But
A little car, a little tiny car.
Gary will give you his. I'm going to turn it over to Gary because we're going to have a lot of fun this morning with obviously a serious subject. But today we want to let you know that as you explore recovery, what you should be doing, because there's help out there. We got some people here who have made it an article of faith in their lives that sobriety is not a grim. It's not a grim thing. You don't have to walk around downtrodden. There's fun associated with being clean and sober. And Gary can tell you, once you get clean and sober, you can find out how much fun you can have. Gary, introduce the guys in the band.
All right. Well, first of all, the Rockers in Recovery out of Miami, and I guess a lot of the guys are from around the country, but I guess your corporate headquarters are in Florida. They're up this weekend to be the headliners for the recovery walk in Philadelphia tomorrow at 9:30. They kick off. And we have a couple members in the studio today. We have John Hollis.
Hello.
Hello. And we have Lou Esposito.
Hello.
And we have their photographer expert, Rick Lobb. So all three are here today, and we're really looking forward to a great show tomorrow. I think I saw, Lou, I think you have the list of all the songs you're going to be playing tomorrow, and it's right up my alley, that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's good old rock and roll.
Which way you going, Billy?
Yeah.
Not us.
Hey guys, so I know that Gary met you in town to bring you over here. How many times did he try to get a backup singing gig?
He's there.
Is there?
Actually, it was funny. He said he could get us a label.
Yeah.
I can't get your label. Right here.
He mentioned the guy with an M for a last name that was going to back everything.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Yeah.
No. No way.
Only Lou. Only Lou.
This is, I've never saw my partner here is this is, and I use the term affectionately, a degenerate music fan. I mean, it's ridiculous to drive around the car with this guy. Most people are familiar with the person who sings along because they know the words of every song that's on the radio. Gary is so far beyond that. He knows the label ID, the serial number. He knows which record promoter guy you have to grease to get the thing played.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He knows everything.
I did it. I was there.
He was that guy.
It's a lot of very useless information.
Gary is Gary's the reservoir. He's the keeper of the flame for all of this stuff. So calm down, all right?
Okay,
Got a
so
couple of
I'm very
musicians.
excited.
All right, let's
Yeah.
have the guys give us a little. Lou, tell us about you.
John.
Or no, we're gonna.
Oh.
You're doing
I
this.
didn't know you were
Am I
talking to.
confused? What am I confused? Lou, let's start with Lou.
Hi, Lou.
My introduction into
Just tell us a
RIR.
little bit about how you get involved in Rockers and Recovery.
Yeah, I got involved in Rockers and Recovery through Liberty DeVito, Billy Joel's drummer. I knew that we're friends, and I knew he was involved in this, and I asked him about it. And when he told me what it was, I thought back to 4 friends of mine that died when there were no such programs, nothing but methadone clinics. So it was trading off one thing for another. They had nowhere to go. There was no support. There was very little. And I watched them die one at a time, and through the years, I just thought to myself, what a waste. There was so much life to happen after that, and they took themselves out like that, So I said, I want to become part of this. I had a little problem with legitimacy because I was never addicted. I was lucky enough to see things coming and go the other way. But I said, but then John had told me, no, what you do as far as a supporter and supporting it in that way with people like families that lost people, they want to hear this too.
Absolutely.
So then I said, all right, I guess there is legitimacy in the end of it that I come from. So then I started doing it. Wrote a song for it, things like that.
No, I think you're perfectly situated because we all know that this disease not only affects the addict, but it affects the entire family. So when we talk about a recovering community, it's made up of way more than just people who've abused drugs and alcohol.
Right.
It's made up of everybody they've come in contact with. So
Right.
you're in a great position, and I also have mercifully avoided this calamity in my life, but I'm fascinated by the whole arena. The recovery movement is inspiring. So I think it's a good position you're in. John Hollis, tell us about yourself.
It's the whole Rockers and Recovery concept came out of around 2008. We decided that me and Lori Sullivan, who's the other co-founder, we were on a local radio station in Boca Raton, Florida, and we were doing the Holistic Lifestyles radio show. Now, I drink 16 cups of coffee a day, smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, so the holistic thing wasn't working out well. So I figured, maybe it was time for a career change. So we were interviewing somebody on the air, and it was a person in recovery, and he was a rock and roller. And after the show, somebody called in to the studios and said, who was that rocker, the rocker in recovery? And I got this feeling from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, wow, Rockers in Recovery, wow. So I go home and check it on Google and, searched everything. And the only thing that came up was a rocking chair, which I figured for all us old people, that was apropos.
Certainly made some sense.
Absolutely. So what we did was we literally that day went to Sunbiz, incorporated everything, and started working on it. And we opened up Rockers in Recovery Radio and Productions. And Rockers in Recovery Radio and Productions has since, developed the Rockers in Recovery magazine, online and print. We have Rockers in Recovery Radio, live stream. We have live streaming events. We do concerts. We also have a helpline where people can call in, and if they need help, and it doesn't matter if you're from Park Place or Park Bench. Part of the thing that really disturbs me as somebody that's in recovery is that people have issues and they call up, and the first thing you hear from somebody is, you have any insurance? Oh, by the way, okay, you have any insurance? Do you got $30,000 in your account? Now, I got to tell you, when I was under the bridge, my bank account was a little light on $30,000, so there was no helping me. The other thing that really bothers me with the industry, and I'm going to call it the industry, the recovery industry, because it is an industry. It's a business. You know what I mean? It's a hospital. So there's that hospital setting. So there's organizations out there like the ones that we're working with this weekend, PROACT. unbelievable organization that helps a lot of people, and they're not looking for things in return. They're not looking to, pad their personal accounts to go around and drive around in Bentleys. These people are on the ground, working every day with people that are in the street, and that's the type of, the type of information that we want to make sure that Rockers in Recovery gets out there. The other thing is, and this is something that I just went through personally, and you got to remember that there is not only the addiction aspect of this thing, there's the mental health aspect of this. Because when you start to combine addiction with mental health issues, let's just, take for an example, somebody that has depression. We just went through this whole thing with Robin Williams, okay? And, here's a guy that had multiple depression episodes, was a huge, cocaine addict, but was in recovery, had gone out after 20 years, was back in recovery, but was medicating those feelings, was medicating those mental health issues. See, in a lot of cases, people are walking around right now. They have depression, they have anxiety, they have all of these things that they're going through, and they're medicating them every day and have no clue they even have them. For me, I was walking around with untreated diabetes. I'm a diabetic, type 2 diabetic. And I was walking around with untreated diabetes 7 years into recovery, was also in depression and anxiety, and had no clue what was going on with me. Had no clue. I just thought I was sober and nuts.
What sort of formal treatment was available to you? Were you going to anything other than meetings, or what were you doing?
Well, and that's part of the problem is that everybody gets into the meeting aspect of it, of the 12-step organizations, and they think that the 12 steps is going to be the answer for everything. And listen, the 12 steps really helped me, and they helped me to formulate a way of living that I can rely on. But when you're having mental health issues or you're having physical issues, the 12 steps aren't going to help you with diabetes. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. You got to get on medication.
So what were you? So when did you finally run into a healthcare professional who could diagnose that you had co-occurring things going on?
It wasn't until I opened my mouth. See, I have to be the one that says, "Hey, listen, by the way, I'm going through these other issues." See, in my mind, if I just did the right thing and pick up no matter what, and you go to meetings and you work your steps and you help others and you wrap your whole mind around that, but you never open up your mind to saying, "Hey, listen, I'm feeling this, or I'm sluggish, or I'm having other issues," and I don't open up my mouth and tell a professional, how am I ever going to get help? So
It's interesting. When I went into rehab in the early '80s, it was separate. They separated the
Correct.
addicts to the mental health,
Correct.
even in the same facility.
Absolutely.
And nobody would go over to that other side where the crazy people
Well,
were.
the history of that phenomenon is interesting because, as you guys know, the entire treatment edifice that we now, even to this day, exists in, it was created in a vacuum because the traditional medical system had no way of dealing with
They had no clue.
alcoholism. They didn't
Right.
think it was a disease when AA was formed 70-some years ago. People went to sanitariums where some euphemism was made, but the healthcare system never looked at addiction. And when they finally they never actually did. It's now happening. So in the context of what John just said, which is a very typical story, you could wind up at some point in the last 50 or 60 years getting treatment for your addiction, but they still weren't looking at depression, anxiety,
Absolutely.
and other physical things. The closer we get to an integration, and we're getting there, it's taking way too long, the closer they get to integrating the treatment industry into the healthcare system, then these issues are going to...
And part of that, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because part of that is, now you look at, recovery and relapse. Let's look at relapse as part of any type of a disease. So when you have this situation and they're not joined together, and you get some guy that's in there for 6 months, he's in there for a year, and he's going through all of these emotions and upheavals and has no clue that he's walking around with these other disorders, and he goes back out, automatically everybody will say, He just wasn't working the program.
Which is a remarkable experience. It's only in this field, and it's an amazing irony. Only in the field of addiction treatment and recovery would anyone have the audacity to say to a client or a patient, well, the treatment didn't work for you because you screwed up. A cancer surgeon says this, gee, it works for other people, I guess you screwed up.
Yeah, it's
Gee, I've
insane.
treated everybody like this.
It's
I guess
insane.
you know, so that's, believe me, that's all changing. We have some great relationships we're building with people that have been in the recovery field for decades. I'm thinking specifically about our friends over at the Malvern Institute, and they have been at the forefront since the early 50s in identifying those co-occurring situations. I tell people, anybody who asks me, you know, what advice I would give them when they're looking for this treatment, I say, listen, the most important thing is who does your evaluation. Make sure you're in front of somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about, so that they can identify things like physical conditions, diabetes, or co-occurring. So this great stuff. I mean, this great story. We're going to get to the musical portion of the program straight ahead. We promised. We made Lou bring his guitar in. He's been tuning diligently since he got here. We've got Rockers in Recovery with us. They're in town, of course, for to work with ProAct in the Recovery Walk, which is taking place tomorrow over at Penn's Landing. This is Clean and Sober. Gary Handler, Steve Martirano. Don't go away.
Manage a business of
Clear?
any type, then you cannot afford to be
How
without
far
an
is the
employee
Grand
assistance
Plaza
program
from
or
the
AAT.
Wyndham
Waste
Hotel?
management
Where's the
services.
Wyndham?
They're 4th and Orange. You can walk it.
You're 2 blocks.
So the actual stage is walkable?
Oh, yeah.
Because we may have someone coming down tomorrow that, you know.
Your employees and their families resolve personal
Rick's
problems.
cousin.
Take that.
The one that bid on the Allman Brothers signed guitar at
You're
the,
2 blocks to Front Street.
yeah.
Up 2 blocks over, and you're at the bridge. And cross over.
They changed
Hi, Lori.
the,
Wait, say it again.
I said, hey, Lori.
Oh, yeah, how long is the walk? How, what kind of distance?
It's a mile.
Mile?
they changed the starting point.
If you're gonna do any songs that's picking,
Yeah.
then I will ask that one of you guys sacrifice your microphone and mic the guitar. That'll be tough to pick up, but
Gary,
I noticed your strum, you got a good strum, that'll get
Yeah,
picked
the
up.
strum's good, but on this song.
But the picking,
Gary's
yeah,
swinging.
just,
And I
don't swing.
Yeah, swing the microphone down.
Alright, so
Yeah, like you bring yours down and then swing Gary's over for
Why
your
doesn't
vocal.
Lou?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Are you picking?
yeah, I'm picking.
What are you thinking?
Are you grinning?
Why doesn't Lou
Picking and
play
grinning?
us back, okay? Tim?
Loving and a singing?
I want Lou to be playing as we come back, and I'll talk a little.
Okay.
All right, so I need that to sing on, right? His,
Either
do I
one,
need it?
yeah, either one.
how close do I need it?
Sounded good right there.
You're a lead singer, you gotta, I'm sure you gotta.
Hey there, swinging bachelors. Okay.
Do a Soupy Sales. I want you to go
Do the
to
mouse.
Daddy's while
Hit the check, Bob.
Daddy's broke. That's right.
You know, in my life, there were 3
Rockers in
people I
Recovery.
wanted to meet ever since I was a kid. Mickey Mantle, John Lennon, and Soupy Sales. I met 2 of them.
Well, you don't have a chance now.
No,
Soupy Sales get in there.
I love them.
The other two.
What do you
I
say?
still love them.
Have you seen Kay? Remember that whole thing?
yeah.
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 he was a stone cold drunk.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Stone cold. You ever read some of his stuff on him? He's out of his mind. Stone cold, out of his mind.
I had a cousin
Gotta
who
love
was
him.
the food and beverage manager at the Claridge in Atlantic City when Mickey and Willie were hired.
Right.
So he said we had to make nasty drunk. So they're put them with 2 guys who out of force. Don't take this. This is a bad Mickey Mantle story.
It's a good Mick. Any story is about Mick.
Comic books are